Hello, welcome back to 13.2 Angles of Rotation. In this example, we're going to be talking about coterminal angles. Terminal refers to the terminal side of an angle of rotation. Coterminal means that they're going to be together. Let's explain what that means. So say, for example, that we have an angle of rotation of, and I suppose we could call it theta. I'm checking if that's what I did in the last video. Nope, we didn't. That's okay. So we have an angle of rotation of 150 degrees. So we're just going to sketch this. Here's my x-axis. Here's my y-axis. And I'll switch over my markers here to do what I was doing. I'll start out with the terminal side. It's kind of hard to see, so I'm drawing it right there. And I want to rotate 150 degrees. Since it's positive, I'm going to go counterclockwise. This is going to take me through 90 degrees. And I need 60 more degrees to get to 150. So 150 is going to be kind of about right here. And this is going to be about 150 degrees. Okay. Well, what if I wanted to draw (510 degrees? So let's do the same thing. So here's my x-axis, here's my y-axis, and my initial side is still going to be right here along the positive side of the x-axis. Now 510 is more than 360, so I think I'm going to have to rotate all the way around first. So again, I'm going to go 90, 180, 270, 360. So I'm up to 360 so far. I'm going to go another 90 degrees, and now I'm at 450. If I go to the x-axis again, I'm going to end up over here at 540. I've gone past it. So what do I need to do? Let's see, 450 plus 50 gives me 500, plus 10 more gives me 510. I need 60 degrees. So if I go another 60 degrees, I have done 510, an angle of rotation of 510. Now, even though I drew these freehand, check them out. This side of the terminal side of this angle, if I take this and lay it right on top of here, these two should match up, especially if I'd used a protractor, okay, and if I had done it a little bit more accurately. That's because when I got here, I went 90 and I went an extra 60 degrees past the y-axis. In this case, I went all the way around, and then I went to 90, and I still went an extra 60 degrees right here. So these two are actually laying in the same place. What was the difference? 150 degrees plus a rotation of 360 degrees gives me an angle of rotation of 510 degrees. So I did a complete rotation, and then I did the extra that equaled how much this was. These two angles are called coterminal because they have the same terminal side. Again, if you watched the previous video, what's really important about this is how you turn. So in this case, you're just going to turn and stop. In this case, you're going to turn a complete circle and then turn and stop. But you're both, if I got two different people standing here, they're both going to be looking at the same thing. They're both going to have the same terminal side. You can also get a coterminal angle by going into the negative direction. So let's look at this. What would happen if I said I want a coterminal angle that's going to go negative? Well, I would go this direction, then I'd go to 180, then I'd pick up this part right here. So that's negative 90 negative 180, and I need to go 30 more. So another coterminal angle would be negative 210 degrees. 150, 510, and negative 210 degrees are all coterminal. And the only thing is whether or not you are adding or subtracting 360. So just grab a calculator. I got 150 plus 360, a complete turn of 360 degrees. That puts me at 510. If I add 360 again, an angle of rotation of 870 degrees is going to go around twice and then end up there. And I can keep adding 360 for a long time. As a matter of fact, I can do this until my batteries die. Or then I can just do it by hand. I can do it forever. So as long as I keep adding 360, I'm going to end up with a coterminal angle. On the other hand, I can go the other direction. I can take 150 and subtract 360, and that's my negative 210, which I was just talking about. And if I subtract 360 again, I get negative 570. And I do it again and again and again and again. So there's an infinite number of angles of rotation that are going to be coterminal to anything that you have here. It just depends on how many times you're going to turn. You can turn and turn, essentially forever. All right? For the problems, they just want you to find a positive angle rotation and a negative angle rotation. And usually for these, we try to just say, what's the first one that you find, okay? Or the smallest positive angle rotation, or the biggest negative angle rotation. So in other words, whatever's closest. Because there's an infinite number of them, it makes it a little difficult to agree on it, all right? So let's start off with the first one, 40 degrees. Okay, now it does not say sketch it. I'm going to put the grids in here to sketch it just so that you can see what it looks like. And I'm not switching to the blue or red here. So here's my initial side. 40 degrees does not go to all the way to 90. Halfway between here and here is 45. So 40 degrees would actually probably be closer to that. So this is going to represent 40 degrees. Now, to get another positive angle of rotation that is coterminal with that, I need to start where I finished off here and go another 360 degrees. So I do 360 plus my 40, and that's going to give me 400 degrees. So, and again, just straight up 40 plus 360. And if I wanted another one, I could do these. Just do this forever. To get a negative angle rotation, I'm going to go the other direction. But to go the other direction, I have to go all the way around and get here. So I could try 40, and if I subtract 360, and again, the positive and negative just tell me the direction. Positive angles of rotation go counterclockwise. Negative angles of rotation go clockwise. If I start at 40 and then turn 360 to my left, or to my right, to my right, this is actually going to be negative 320 degrees. So 40 subtract 360 is going to be negative 320 degrees. And I could do the same thing, subtract 360 again, and do that over and over again to get an infinite number of them. So the only reason we kind of like say, hey, let's try to keep them like relatively close together is because that way we can agree on them, all right? That's all. It's more or less like looking for like the same answer from all the students in the class, but that's okay. Let's talk about 380 degrees. Now notice about 380 degrees. There's something, notice that that's already more than 360. So if I go all the way around, and yes, again, here's my initial side. If I go all the way around, I've done 360 degrees, and I need only 20 more degrees to end up at 380. So I could do this. I could do 380 plus 360. And I'm going to get 740. There's nothing wrong with that. That's if I start here and go all the way around again. Also notice that because it's already more than one rotation, if I did 380 and subtracted 360, I'm still at a positive number. And the directions just say find the measure of a positive angle and a negative angle. So if I did 380 and subtract 360, that's still going to be positive 20 degrees. So that one works. Forgot to write down what the other one was. What that means is last time when I had 40 subtract 360, I was in a negative, I had a negative angle of rotation as my answer. But when I subtract here, I'm still positive. So I'm just going to do it again. Subtract 360 again. So another one, if I did 20 degrees, subtract 360, I'm going to get negative 340 degrees. All of these are coterminal. They're all fine. So start out with 380 degrees. 240 and 20 degrees are both coterminal with them, and they're both positive. Negative 340 would be, for lack of a better way of saying it, the first negative coterminal angle. And if I did it again, I get negative 700. And I would keep doing that, and I'd get a lot more. Okay, finally for this one. Negative 120 degrees. Negative 120 degrees is going to go this way and 30 degrees more. So this is negative 120. So what would be a positive angle of rotation that I would get here? So I could try negative 120 plus 360, and that's going to give me positive, I'll put a plus on here, 240 degrees. That's this one. And I'm sorry, I forgot to do the initial side there. So this would be positive 240 degrees. To get to another, I already had a negative angle of rotation, so I need to go around one more time. Negative 120, subtract 360 is going to give me negative 480 degrees. So if I start here at 0, my initial side, and do a complete 360 degrees, and then do negative 120 degrees more, I'm going to end up at negative 480. Another way of thinking about it is I do the negative 120, this is the side I want, and then I do a complete circle. Both of those are the same. So one more time, you're just going to add 360 or subtract 360. That's it. Be careful that if you start off and you say, like you got 380, which is bigger than 360, if you subtract 360 the first time, it's still a positive angle. Just do it again and get the negative angle. All right, we'll see you in the next video.